Doctor Who is so back. Or is it? Let's discuss the robot revolution, because I have thoughts on this episode, both good and bad. The official synopsis for this episode reads, when robots from outer space kidnap nurse Belinda Chandra, the Doctor embarks on an epic intergalactic quest to get his new friend back home to Earth. I was very excited to watch this episode, not only because Doctor Who was my favorite show in all of time and space, but because this is the first time ever that I would have been able to watch Doctor Who on a Saturday. Because I live in Australia and the UK usually gets Doctor Who on a Saturday, which means Australia gets it on a Sunday, or even worse, in the Chibnall era, we got Doctor Who on a Monday, like first thing Monday morning. Ay, ay, ay. But thanks to this Disney deal, I get Doctor Who at 5 p.m. on Saturdays, which is crazy. That's never happened. But I had been invited to one event this year, and in all seriousness, I've been invited to one event this year, and the event was on the 12th of April and started at 5 p.m. This was my best friend's engagement party, and he timed it to the minute that Doctor Who starts. It was crazy. I rocked up to the engagement party and got this notification on my phone. It was taunting me, begging me to come home and watch the episode. But I had a great time at this event and got home very late and was like, I just need to sleep. I'm not in the right frame of mind to be watching Doctor Who. So I got up first thing Sunday morning and watched the brand new Doctor Who. Maybe a little hungover, but I watched it regardless. And there was part of me that was like, hey, maybe I should just take today off and not review Doctor Who. But damn it, I'm making a promise right now that for the next 8 weeks, there will be a review of every single episode from season 2 on this channel in a somewhat timely manner. So please subscribe so you do not miss a thing. Anyway, let's talk about the episode, because I gotta say, I got some mixed feelings on it, but we will start with the good. New companion Belinda Chandra, played by Verita Sethu, is the standout for me, absolutely. I am a little bit worried about her character, but we'll get into that later. She just feels fresh. She's more of a grounded companion. She's in her 30s, independent, skeptical, practical, and it truly feels like a complete 180 from Ruby Sunday, which is what I think the show needed. She seems to just want to jump into action in a crisis and questions the Doctor. That's what I love. They're not best friends straight away. She actually has some conflict with the Doctor, and it's good TV. She's not in love with him. She's really skeptical of the guy. And this episode kind of breaks the mold for like a new companion introduction. Like Belinda's like in space in the first 6 minutes of the episode, and the Doctor and Belinda kind of meet in space. We're not setting this story in modern day London. It is just balls to the wall space adventure, and it was fun to witness. Also, it goes without saying, Ncuti Gatwa feels very comfortable in the role. It almost feels like we didn't get as much Ncuti that we could have had this episode. Maybe that's just me, but he's always just a delight to see on screen. Very charismatic, and I can see the dynamic of this, Doctor and companion becoming something really, really cool. There are so many good ideas in this episode. It's overwhelming. We've got robot warfare, AI satire, incel commentary. This episode is truly chock-a-block, and we'll talk more about that later as well. I thought the robots looked fantastic. I love it when Doctor Who do big and bulky robots. There were just some great practical suits. I absolutely love that stuff. They reminded me of the robot in the Husbands of River song, just big, bulky, and red. I'm just listing the good stuff here. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play of the episode. You've already seen the episode, I hope. If you haven't, why did you click on this video? It's very spoilery. I love it when Doctor Who gets off Earth, because the show tends to spend a lot of time in London. I thought it was cool that this planet kind of, had this myth about Belinda Chandra, and she's like their queen. She is their queen. And they call themselves like Miss Belinda Chandra kind, and they've got Miss Belinda Chandra bombs. That's so funny. It's very Doctor Who-y, it's very camp, and it's awesome. I thought that was cool. And the twist reveal at the end kind of worked for me. I don't know, it felt somewhat earned. Like her ex-boyfriend being the bad guy all along. He's a very controlling dude. I feel like it was a bit unclear, his like villain arc and like how much control he had and what the twist really meant. But I don't know, watching it I was like, oh damn, okay, that's something. Padam Padam reference is always good in my books. Plus the ending absolutely hit. The final frame where we see the taxi floating in space, the Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower, it looks like, end of the world shenanigans again, but it absolutely hit. It was a very good end to a fairly complicated episode. But let's talk about the bad. I've got some criticisms. There is so much going on in this episode that you really kind of need a second viewing to take it all in. This episode really tries to juggle so many ideas. As I said before, it's got AI satire, incel commentary. We've got these weird time glitches and distortions. There's an intergalactic rebellion going on, and we're introducing a brand new companion, and there's somewhat of a mystery with her. It's a lot to pack into 46 minutes, because this episode truly feels like it's trying to cram 2 episodes into one. Really doesn't allow any breathing room for those like emotional beats that you get and would allow us to connect with the companion more. There really wasn't many quieter moments, which I understand because it's, you know, it's a season opener. We gotta bang, bang, bang. We gotta go. But I like connecting with the characters more. And I'm worried about Belinda because they have set her up perfectly. As I said, I like my companions that have conflict with the Doctor, but they end up being best friends at the end of the day. Donna Noble and the 10th Doctor are the perfect example, and everyone goes back to them. Like, they were not romantically interested in each other. They weren't best friends straight away. There was this massive conflict between them, but at the end of the day, they loved each other and cared for one another. And I feel like we could be setting up something similar with Belinda. But I'm just worried that she's going to become another one of these mystery companions. Like last season we had Ruby, like, oh, who is her mum? What's her story? And that, for me, felt a little bit underwhelming in the end. We had the whole Impossible Girl thing with Clara Oswald. Like, we've done that. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with the whole Mundy Flynn, because Verita Sethu was in a previous episode. She was in Boom. They do address it in the episode, and I probably need to go back and rewatch, but I don't think it was fully resolved. It feels like this is something that's going to go on for a while. I just think for Belinda, like, her best pitch as a character is like, hey, she's a companion. She doesn't want to be here. She just wants to get home. That's great. And she questions the Doctor. We don't really need the mystery element on top of it all, but I feel like we're only adding the mystery element because Verita was cast in a previous episode, and then they were like, hey, you're really good. Let's get you back for this, but we have to try and like rework it so it makes sense narratively. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I just don't want the mystery to overshadow her character, which is what I kind of felt like happened with Ruby and kind of happened with Clara at the start of her journey. And I haven't really seen anyone talking about this, but I feel like Belinda took like going to outer space and robots and spaceships in her backyard just kind of in her stride. Like she was kind of fine with it. She's like, oh yeah. I truly wish we kind of had more time with her before she got on the spaceship, kind of see what her personal life is like, what her work life is like. Those scenes happen very, very quickly, and I feel like there could have been something in those earlier scenes that could kind of explain why she's so kind of nonchalant with going on a spaceship. Like maybe she could have been into aliens and conspiracy theories, or when she was a young child remembered a spaceship crashing into Big Ben or something like that. I don't know. For me at the start, I was like, wow, she is taking this like an absolute champ. If a robot came crashing into my house and was like, we're going to take you, I'm running. I'm getting out of there. I'm calling the cops straight away. She just kind of walks along with them. It doesn't look like she's really been detained. She does ask Miss Flood to call the police, which is quite a funny bit of dialogue. And also I should mention that Mrs. Flood was in this episode. I hope they solve that mystery this season. Because we'll see if Doctor Who gets any more seasons, but that's a different video. But Mrs. Flood, she's fine. I'll take it or leave it at this point. I just hope it's a good resolution when we finally figure out who she is. I think the Robot Revolution is a bold, idea-packed episode that introduces a refreshingly grounded companion in Belinda Chandra, but its overstuffed plot and lack of emotional breathing room kind of hold this episode back from being the companion debut it could have been. But I will say it was miles better than Space Babies. It was light years ahead of Space Babies, so I think that's good. Hang on. I think there's a robot in my backyard. Okay, well, I'm going to give the Robot Revolution a 6.5 out of 10. That's my official rating. Please let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. I'm going to get on this spaceship now. Goodbye.